Anthony Hopkins, Elle Macpherson and Alec Baldwin star in our late film The Edge in 15 minutes here on ITV1 after the news with Steve Scott.
Hello. America's Republicans began their four-day convention in New York tonight, just miles from where the Twin Towers stood until September the 11th 3 years ago, clearly setting out the strategy they plan to use in the presidential election. The message? You need a president firm on terror, and that president is George Bush. Not everyone agreed. From New York, Robert Moore reports.
The protests on the streets outside have barely been heard inside this convention hall. Speakers are now eulogizing George Bush and controversially using the tragedy of September the 11th as a key part of their election campaign. Tempers are already fraying in this city as rival activists take to the streets. This is a country divided in its politics, and this is a city that loves dissent. For the land of the free. Some parts of Manhattan may have been closed down to keep protesters at bay, but inside the convention hall there is a very different worldview, with only extravagant praise for President Bush.
We meet here and reaffirm our support for one of the greatest leaders our nation has ever known.
Mr. Bush is still crisscrossing America before arriving at the convention. No mention of the US death toll in Iraq. No mention that Osama bin Laden is still on the run. Rather, this is the careful packaging of Mr. Bush as a strong leader.
I tell the people every day I wake up thinking about how better to protect America. It's the nature of the presidency right now. It's just one of those moments in history that is a defining moment.
Democrats accuse the president of using a national tragedy to boost his election hopes. But Republicans appear increasingly confident that September the 11th and the subsequent war on terrorism are their strongest cards. In a few hours' time, we will hear from popular Republicans like former Mayor Rudy Giuliani and Senator John McCain. The aim of this convention is to sway a few million undecided voters in those crucial battleground states. Robert Moore, ITV News, in New York.
Team GB, Britain's Athens Olympians, arrived back home to an ecstatic welcome today. The most successful group of British athletes for decades stepped off their plane at Gatwick with their badges of honour around their necks. 30 medals, all proudly displayed. Damon Green was there.
Reunited with the mother who watched her become the nation's hero, Kelly Holmes, Olympic double gold medalist on British soil once more, and back with the people she made so proud.
It was wonderful, and I just wanted to go up to her and give her a kiss and a cuddle. Do you know what I mean? But they said, oh no, you know, hold back and whatever. I mean, and before I was waiting there for her to come out, I was just so nervous. It was like waiting for her to race. You know, my heart was pounding and everything, but oh, yeah, it was lovely when she came out.
I've been hearing she's been a bit of a media star for some reason, so I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but it was really good to see her.
I think you're going to be mortified, actually.
I'm sure I am.
Team GB succeeded as a team. More than 200 athletes went to Athens and 30 medals came back to Gatwick Airport. For the veteran competitors, for the first-time winners, for everyone in the team, the welcome was breathtaking.
Yeah, no, I hadn't got any experience. I didn't experience this in Sydney, so it's incredible amount of people here. It's fantastic. Great support.
Didn't expect it to be like this. A bit unreal. I've got a few tears in my eyes. I've just seen my family, so it's a bit weird, a bit strange, but it's really great.
Some of them will surely be on the plane to Beijing for another Olympics in 4 years' time, aiming for still more glory now that Kelly has shown them how to win and Britain has shown its pride in all those who fly the flag.
It was the most amazing feeling I've ever experienced in my whole life. To realise so many people were watching the Olympics, and that was just amazing. In the actual stadium there was a lot of support, and to come home to the same support was great. It was crazy.
There are athletes who believe that at the top level of sport, winning is all that matters. But surely this shows that at the Olympics, there's more to sport than that. Damon Green, ITV News, at Gatwick Airport.
Some more of tonight's news now. A UN ultimatum for the Sudanese government to restore peace to its war-torn Darfur region ran out tonight. Sudan had been threatened with sanctions if it failed to act against Arab militia blamed for a reign of terror in the country. But today there were fresh reports of fighting and killing. Two French journalists held hostage in Iraq have tonight appeared on Arabic television, urging France to lift a ban on Muslim schoolchildren wearing headscarves. Militants say they'll kill the men if the law's not revoked. But this evening, they extended their deadline by another 24 hours. In Paris, thousands of people have taken to the streets to demand their release. And an investigation's underway after a grandstand collapsed at a religious festival in Lincolnshire. 4 people are still recovering in hospital. The curtain was almost certainly brought down today on the illustrious career of that grand old man of English Premiership football, Sir Bobby Robson. The 71-year-old was sacked as Newcastle manager just 4 games into the season. Catherine Jacob reports.
Bobby, you've done a smashing job.
With a golf club in his hand and the hint of a tear in his eye, Bobby Robson today began the long goodbye from St James's Park. With a season still left on his contract, the club's decision to cut short his reign is a bitter disappointment to Robson, and the timing seems to have taken him by surprise, along with some of the fans.
I just feel sorry for him.
You're quite emotional there.
I am very emotional, yeah.
Best thing could have happened to the club. Knew they wanted a foreign manager to get in.
Born and bred in the northeast, it's 5 years since the local hero took over at Newcastle, and the club said today it continues to have the greatest respect for him. But Saturday's defeat against Aston Villa continued Newcastle's poor start to the season, a season dogged by rumours of unrest behind the scenes. And Robson's decision to leave skipper Alan Shearer on the bench may have done him no favours. 5 years ago, then manager Ruud Gullit famously did the same, and he too was promptly sacked. Robson's long and illustrious career began in 1950 at Fulham. 8 years later, he made his England debut and won 20 caps. A year later, he became a manager at both Fulham, then at Ipswich. Then in 1982, it was for England. In 1990, Robson left for a spell in Europe, before returning in 1999 to his beloved Tyneside.
He said only a couple of weeks ago that as long as my head, my heart and my legs all coordinate, I will carry on working. And he will feel now that there's something unfulfilled within him.
But the Newcastle board disagree, and as speculation mounts over the 71-year-old successor, his career on Tyneside anyway is finally at an end. Catherine Jacob, ITV News.
That's the way the news looks tonight on the ITV News channel from 1 a.m. Live all-night coverage of the Republican convention in New York. But from me and the rest of the team here, good night.
ITV National Weather, sponsored by Powergen.
Hello, good evening. Now, for many places, it will become drier this week, although by midweek, up across at the far northwest, rain will start edging in. But at least on the plus side, it should be fairly warm everywhere. So as far as tonight goes, it has to be said a little bit nippy tonight, perhaps even some ground frost for Northern Ireland. Good clear spells down here across at the far southwest, but perhaps some showers lingering further east. And certainly a better day to come tomorrow. A lot of places dry and bright. Still can't rule out the odd shower over there across East Anglia. And I think later on through tomorrow, cloud will start building up here across at the far northwest with that 1 or 2 spots of rain. With lighter winds tomorrow, it should feel fairly decent. Looking at a high of around 21 Celsius. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Positive energy from Powergen.